Paul Rand could arguably be called the most influential and important graphic designer in American history. If he is not the father of, he certainly paved the way for modernism in the art world. Paul Rand wore many hats in the graphic design world from the 1930s until his death in 1996. He started out designing magazine covers and stories. He quickly moved on to becoming an art director who designed many iconic logos and advertising campaigns. After World War II, the American economy took off, and so did the career of Paul Rand. He became an educator, teaching design for over 30 years. He began authoring books on design, and also co-authored and illustrated a series of children's books. He designed logos for book covers, magazine covers, even Hollywood movie posters. He won an award for the design of his own house. But Paul Rand's legacy will be for what he was best known for: the design of corporate logos. He reinvented the way people looked at and used corporate branding, designing some of the most recognizable and lasting corporate logos in history. Rand had four main principles of his own in which he incorporated into the design of his corporate logos. He believed the logos had to have life and personality of their own. He believed logos needed to embed a lot of ideas into the simplest forms, trying to capture the way people think. Rand had a language of aesthetics, a language of form that he would try to incorporate into his work. Those elements included order, variety, contrast, symmetry, balance, scale, texture, space, shape, light, shade, and color. But what I noticed missing from this list was my favorite Gestalt principle: similarity. In fact, one could argue that Paul Rand's vocabulary of design uses two words contradictory to the Gestalt principle of similarity: variety and contrast. What I would like to do is look at four of the most iconic logos Rand created in his most prolific and influential years as a graphic designer in the 1950s and 60s, and show how the Gestalt principle of similarity may or may not be at use in these logos. The simple definition of the Gestalt principle of similarity is that elements that look similar will be perceived as part of the same form. Rand created this logo for ABC in 1962, and it is still in use today with few changes. This iconic logo does have elements of the Gestalt principle of similarity in the roundness of the design. The logo is circular in design, with white text inside a shaded black circle. The text itself, with the sans serif typeface, is also very circular. Each letter, A, B, and C, has a circular pattern in the context of the white lettering, but also each letter contains a complete shaded-in black circle within the letter. So the Gestalt principle of similarity applies to Rand's ABC logo. Rand designed logos for IBM as far back as 1947. There was a design update in 1956 and again in 1967 and 1972. I'm examining the most well-known IBM logo with the horizontal blue stripes, which has been in the American and world's consciousness for over 50 years. Over time, Rand stopped liking the earlier versions. He felt there was not enough rhythm and sense of unity between the letters. So Rand consciously added the Gestalt principle of similarity to create similar shapes in the design. He introduced the horizontal stripes in creating the letters, each horizontal line being broken up by the contour of each letter. Rand suggested this added movement to the logo and enhanced its beauty. The design is still very simple, yet the horizontal lines creating the bold capital letters demonstrate authority, and the color blue tends to signify strength. This simple use of the Gestalt principle of similarity gave the IBM logo a distinct look. One well-known corporate logo that Rand created during this period, which does not seem to rely on the Gestalt principle of similarity, is his design of the UPS logo in 1961. This logo remains one of the most classic logos from the era. There are three main elements within the logo: the badge or shield, the lettering, and the gift box on top. There does not seem to be anything tying those three elements together. The symbol of the shield for UPS predated Rand's involvement with the logo. The shield was used to symbolize the safety of their product. Rand altered the shield slightly so that it could also symbolize a badge, creating an association with government dependency and military efficiency, even though UPS was a private company. He updated the font to a sans serif, but his big innovation was creating the package or parcel on top with the ribbon, signifying a present. This was definitely a Paul Rand touch of creating a logo that helps the way people think, simplifying the complex process of delivering packages and the dependability and the anticipation of giving or receiving a gift. While the UPS logo changed in the mid-2000s, elements of Rand's work is still seen on the updated UPS logo. But the design elements within the shield, the lettering, and the package are not similar in any way, so the Gestalt principle of similarity is not present in his UPS logo. The last Paul Rand corporate logo that we will look at is his 1959 logo for Westinghouse Electric. Rand redesigned Westinghouse's visual identity by creating symbols used on a circuit board. Then, when the interlinked dots were connected, it would create the iconic W logo. This helped Westinghouse emphasize the company's innovations and technology. There are two elements merged together using the Gestalt principle of similarity. The first is the shape of circles. The logo as a whole is a circular symbol in which we see the letter W. There is a second circular element as there is a thin line that creates a circular outline. In the center of the symbol are three small shaded circles, or dots, at the top of the W. The second element of similarity in regards to shape are four straight lines of the same length. Those lines and dots are arranged to form the iconic W we still associate with Westinghouse to this day. So the work of Paul Rand, throughout his entire career, but particularly during this prolific period of creating corporate logos in the 1950s and 60s, used his own principles of design and his own vocabulary of aesthetics, but also adhered to many of the Gestalt principles of design, including my favorite, the Gestalt principle of similarity.